Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing great. We will talk today about telling your origin story. Makes sense for your target audience why all of this had to happen in order to for you to become the person that can help in the way he or she is helping right now. Let me start by telling you my origin story, and then we will look at the strategy and kind of the framework of what you can use to tell yours. Before my immigration to the United States, and I came in 2011, I used to be a law enforcement officer. And at the beginning of my career, I was stationed in a red light district, and I was exposed a lot to crimes that you would find in relation to drug addiction, prostitution, that kind of thing. Now, when it was at the railway station, and every day, almost every day, you would see individuals arrive that came to start a new life. Very often, young, innocent people, especially when they were young girls, young women, they were literally prey to a lot of predators in the red light district. So there was this one day where I saw a beautiful girl come out of the train, and I forget why I talked to her, but essentially I was one of the first people she spoke to in this new country. I remember she came from France. And she told me the typical story. She was going to come and be independent and do her money in show business. And she was just going to be happy and independent. Finally, had gotten rid of the annoying parents who would constantly want to make her study and do the things that teenagers don't want to do. So I told her, be very careful because there are a lot of people here in this area that are out here to get you and to take advantage of you. And it didn't take very long, I think about a month or so. And during that time, I could literally observe that person go into addiction, get into prostitution to fund her addiction. And on that specific climaxing event, she had been thrown out of a moving car because the John wasn't happy with her. And I remember taking her in and into the office and asking about all the details. And she looked just so bad and it was so sad. And mind you, that I had become a law enforcement officer because I wanted to contribute to the well being of my community. I was convinced that that was the best way to make it happen. Over time, I got kind of sick of always being at the repressive end of things because when you work in law enforcement, you typically have to step in after the facts when things already went spiraled downwards. And I decided that I would immigrate and start studies in something that would be helping me to have an impact on my community in a different way, in a much more proactive way, where I could do good for the community before bad things happen. So I went to a university and I studied interactive media studies. I had left Luxembourg behind, took a long, long sabbatical, and I studied interactive media studies with the intention to be able to gain the skills to tell a story efficiently using technology to improve our communities. I took a student job at that university and I, because of my background, was made the alcohol EDU administrator. So ironically, I found myself in a policing slash educating situation again. Not that I had any real powers to punish someone who would infringe on the alcohol laws and rules, but the students that sometimes had to take sanction classes because they had overstepped the boundary, I had to take care of them as well. And yet I felt like what I was doing wasn't truly, it was already a step forward, but it was not impactful enough. It was not really making me feel like what I'm doing with my life is improving our communities. So in the way where I want, I mean, of course, law enforcement improves communities, but it does it in a repressive way, usually after the fact. So fast forward, I graduate, take my first job as a software developer, and things happen. And it didn't take too long until I started freelancing, and now I lead a healthcare marketing agency. And we have recently started focusing a lot on teaching healthcare and wellness professionals how to be efficient online themselves, how to be seen themselves, how they can do that themselves with our help, but not only with us doing it for them. And in this course of helping rehab facilities, helping physicians, helping counselors, helping all kinds of healthcare professionals be seen online and reach their audience, I finally feel that what I am doing aligns with my strength, which is my intellectual capabilities, and my passion, which is helping impact the community and specifically the community here in Texas and the United States, which is a community and a nation that I am deeply grateful for, that they have accepted me, and literally everything I have is because of them. Okay, it is really, I am one of very few people who can claim that they live their American dream. Every single thing that is going on right now in my life was by design and by choice, and I just love it. So, this concludes the origin story that also had these emotional elements of up and down. And I invite you to now work on your story together with me. We will look at a framework here. So I'm going to bring up a blank sheet here, and we will basically, here you start at a low. Okay, and this is the time where I was in law enforcement. And you basically start with a low, which was, of course, the girl thrown out of the car. Okay, so that is something that is very emotional and that should capture most people's attention. Okay, so you then go into explaining how you did something that improved your situation. So you went on a quest, and in my case, it was immigration and new life with studies. Okay, so, and then you kind of go down again in the emotional roller coaster ride. So I was talking about this alcohol EDU job that, was certainly better than here back in law enforcement, but still I didn't feel like it was having the impact that I truly wanted. So then you go up again. Okay, you talk about how your journey led you to the next step that is much better, and for me, essentially, that was being a CEO of a healthcare marketing agency. Okay, so if you can add another up here that kind of makes it even better. And for me, that is that we are expanding into teaching versus doing it for healthcare professionals. We now offer to do it with them and largely make them independent so that they can grow, and basically that's a way of multiplying my knowledge for the good of the community that I love so much. Okay, expanding into teaching. And so why is this? Oh, I need to move that. Let me see if I can move that. Why is this? I'll do that later. Why is this so powerful? Well, because everything here, okay, let me take myself away, okay, everything here is designed in driving your target audience towards you, and eventually even to hopefully become a customer of yours. Okay, so let's look at where the elements were here. Well, first of all, here in law enforcement, I told you all that I was there because it was my way of improving my community. Okay, and that I cared about the community. And that is something that, of course, people in healthcare and wellness are going to care about as well. Then I speak about immigration and new life. Okay, so a lot of healthcare professionals and a lot of wellness people who work in wellness, they have to either immigrate, go and study abroad, or they change their lives completely, where they go back and study to acquire additional skills to improve their communities. Okay, so this is something that people who I want to reach can relate to. That is very important. And then there comes this downward step here, which is also an interesting one because it proves that I kept being in the field of teaching and making people stay healthy. And also, it kind of validates my skills because university decided to trust me with that position, which is kind of a big deal as an undergrad student. Okay. And then, of course, the next part is, well, I am the CEO of a healthcare marketing agency, which should probably show that I am very qualified to help right now. And then here, this is, of course, one of the final call to actions, and it's supposed to make people curious about what this is, this expansion into teaching. Okay, now if you want to know what this is, this teaching element, this element where my team and I show you how to be that yourselves, you can go to shanks.healthcare and get more information. It's down here in the ticker, but I can also write it here, shanks.healthcare. Okay. Just go there and check it out. Let me know what you think. So what I want you to do right now, if you have no further questions that you can post in the chat, in the comments, I want you to look at the recording of this video, and as I go through the structure of my origin story, married with these emotional ups and downs, I want you to write your own. Come up with your own, share it with me. You can message it, or you can put a link to a video or to maybe a post in the comments, or you can message it to me. And then we'll look at, I'm just very curious, and hopefully that has given you some tools, or one tool to get to the next step in your business, where you just improve the way you reach people online. Again, as a recap, there are so many people who do similar things, but when you combine it with your roots, with your story of origin, and you not only combine it, but you also show how your past has basically been has basically everything in your past has come together to make you the best possible professional who does exactly what you're doing right now. All right, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching this. Again, go to shanks.healthcare to find out more, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.